Okay guys, moving on to carbohydrates as a macronutrient. I want to discuss now that we've covered a little bit on protein. And you guys have been tracking food now for moving on to a month, so we're in week 4. And you guys already have a lot of this practical knowledge, but I want to double back and talk about some of the quality issues and maybe even timing issues that can give you an upper hand in your progress. I talked already a couple episodes ago, a couple days ago, about how carb quality. I used the example of oatmeal versus other forms of maybe breakfast foods, even down to donuts. Same amount of carbohydrates, but just the different glycemic index values, or how we think of the complexity of the glucose molecules being bundled together. You have things like polysaccharides and disaccharides and monosaccharides, different types or forms of sugar, which are really just telling us the chemical composition, how complex they are, because then it takes the body longer to digest. To break those down, it takes more chemical work for your body, which actually are calories that you can use. So that's why sometimes those higher density foods create better satiety over time, because they just increase blood sugar very, very slowly. So if I consume a high glycemic carbohydrate, something very simple, my blood sugar may go up, and then my body uses that quickly, and now I'm back where I was, which may be, you could see some hunger increasing, or you might feel even hypoglycemic. You might see blood sugar start to dip a little bit. That's not always the case. It's quantity first. If I had 25 grams of carbs versus 25 grams of carbs, that's still going to be the most important thing. Food quality is something we want you to pay attention to, but as we talked about from the beginning, we also need to be flexible. And there are times that a simple carb might even do better. If I'm really, really hungry and I'm just trying to get to that next meal, maybe a little snack that gives me a nice quick bump in energy is helpful. That can even be advantageous pre-workout and post-workout. It's very common for me if I'm getting ready to train and maybe I haven't eaten in a couple hours, so I know my stomach is pretty clear. I don't want a heavy, complex carbohydrate, but I also need a little bit of energy. So that's when I can use something very simple and then skate right into an amazing workout. It might be something like a small granola bar, could even be a small candy bar. That's one of my things. I am known for grabbing a Reese cup or two and then having the best workout of my week, because I've used something small like that that's high in sugar content, and that really gives me that short-term energy boost I need to get into my training, and then my body takes over with longer-term glycogen stores and even body fat to fuel the energy. But that was really what primed the pump for that energy. So again, so much stuff that we could talk about in terms of these macronutrients, but I want you to start thinking of the timing and the quality, and how you're really in control of those different elements, and how, again, I keep coming back to this, but there's really not a good or bad or right or wrong value issue. It's all about what works for you in the context of your food values and also your goals. So a lot of flexibility for you guys to use as you build this foundational structure.